Hi, welcome to Living as Latinas. I am Jaquira and I have my co host, Howdy.
Hello.
On this week's episode, we will be discussing everything crystals, healing, and energy. We will be interviewing Yanelli today, who has a lot of knowledge about this topic and helping us understand this better. Listen and enjoy and learn about something new that maybe you have not heard about before. Maybe you have and you'll be learning some more on our episode of crystals, healing, and all things feel good.
Yay.
Yay.
So today, welcome Yanelli. Yanelli also goes by the name of Soso J. She has been on a spiritual journey since fall of 2016. She began studying when she moved in with her hippie cousin who got her into spirituality. Since then, it has been a worthwhile roller coaster. She started using crystals healing that same year by herself and later saw a specialist who helped her pick out special crystals specific to her. In the podcast today, we'll talk about the basics of spirituality and crystal healing. So welcome, Yanelli.
Yay!
Hello, everyone.
So let's start. What is crystal healing and what is it used for?
So crystal healing it's kind of like getting these spiritually charged objects and using them for whatever need you may have. So like, for example, you may get a crystal that is for negative energy. And so you might keep that crystal in your purse so that it protects you from negative energy.
That sounds esoteric. It sounds like a movie. So if someone has never been exposed to any of this and you would want to, I don't know, get them to understand what it works. Let's say I would like to give someone one of those crystals, right? For protection. How would you advise me like going about it?
Okay. So I think that like you could pick crystals based off like your spiritual needs or like your intuition. So like sometimes you could go, let's say you go to a crystal shop and the crystal shops will tell you all the names and it will tell you like what they're used for. So you could pick something like specifically for energy or for mental clarity or for whatever you may need. And then you could pick it off your intuition. So like whatever you feel you need, whatever you have like this itching in your gut that you need, whatever, when you get this feeling like, oh, I need it. You know, like I picked them based off color because I feel like I feel the colors and that's what I like to do. So like if you were going to get one for somebody else and you're like, oh, I specifically want something for energy, for let's say negative energy. You would grab one at the store and then you would cleanse it, and you can cleanse it various different ways. And then you would set intentions. So you would be like, I need this crystal to really cleanse so-and-so's energy, power be with her. And then you could gift it to them.
That sounds cool.
Yeah. I think it's like something that's really interesting is like the cleaning part of it, because what happens with it is that even though these crystals give energy, they also hold energy. So they could be holding energy from somebody else who touched it, or they could be holding energy from whoever had it from before. Or even you, when you pick it up for your friends with good intention, could give it your energy. So it's important to clean them to kind of get rid of any energy that might be lingering around and kind of set intentions and be like, this is what this stone is for, you know?
So that means then, let me see if I understand. That means that someone can give you crystals with the best intentions for your highest good, right? But they can also do it in the opposite way. And
Yeah,
instead of helping, it will harm you in a way.
Yeah, I mean, negative energy can attach to anything or anyone. So, you know, if you have this negative energy on you and you're carrying around this stone for a few days before you give it to someone, like it could definitely attach onto the stone and transfer onto somebody else.
I think I had a similar experience to that recently where I received like a tiger necklace, a tiger jade, like beads, no, bracelet, right? And I just started wearing it. I mean, I'm new to this. So I'm just like, oh, it's beautiful. Let me wear it. It's for good vibes and energy and everything. And then that whole day, I'm telling you, it was like one of those days out of a textbook. Like I had a migraine. I was like in conflict with people. I was upset. I was angry like 90% of that day. And I couldn't identify what I was angry with or what made me angry. I was just angry. And I went to sleep angry. And I was just like, ah. And I was like,
God, that
this
is
isn't
crazy.
me. I'm like, what's going on? And it was just one of those days. And then I was just like, you know what? Let me take this bracelet off. And then like I felt better.
Yeah, you really have to cleanse them. And there's a few different ways to clean them. Like you can clean them with salt water. You can clean them with healing sprays that you get at like a crystal shop. You could do it in the moonlight. You could put them out in the moonlight and the moon will just charge them up and clean them so good. It is the best thing for your crystals, moonlight. Or you could put them in the dirt. Every once in a while when there's no moon, like there's no good moonlight in my house and stuff like that, I'll just put them in the dirt, let the ground just clean them all up, and then wash them off. And it's a good way to reset your crystals.
It's intention good enough? Like say that you don't have access to distance. You might have access to dirt all the time, but let's say that you don't, right? Is it enough for you to set the intention to the crystals to cleanse them?
I think it would take a little bit more power than that. You know, sometimes with my crystals, I used to do readings for people. So I would take my crystals out. And so what I would actually do with them is I would meditate with my crystal to some negative energy removing sounds and kind of just focus really on like visually focusing on cleaning it, you know, in my mind, like visualizing this crystal being clean and stuff like that. And that is kind of like another way that you can reset your crystals and then set intentions. But they have to have time. They have to have like, you have to give them time to kind of like reset and refocus.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I already know how to give crystal related things to people, what to do before, how to help them cleanse them after they receive it, just in case I was in a bad mood or something. What about when you get a gift? I know you said that, you know, intentions and all of these things are, you know, important. Let's say someone is a bad person and wants to, you know, play a little bit with your energy or your good luck or whatever it is. Is it enough for you when you receive it to do the cleansing and then all of that bad intention that was put into it would just go away?
I believe so. I definitely believe that when you clean crystals, they do reset. Okay. I do believe that. So sometimes, you know, I've gotten stuff from people, like gifts of people that know me and they're like, oh, she'd love a crystal, so I'll get her a crystal. And even if they do set their intentions, I think to myself, well, if it's good, it'll stick. And if it's bad, then I just washed it out. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
I like that.
That's how I kind of, yeah.
What is something?
I think
Sorry,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, what's something maybe that is a myth or a perception that you've heard about crystals and like debunking it?
That's a hard one. So I don't think I think the myth is that like crystals are just gonna be like they're just gonna like heal you. Mm-hmm. And I think that when it comes to spirituality, there's a lot more things you have to do with the crystals than just have them. It's more than just having them. You know, I have them and I meditate with them. I visualize with them. I focus on them. I try to bring their energy to me. You know, it's not just about having them and keeping them there. They're not going to work. You know, if you have a crystal and you just keep it on the table and you never spend any time with it, you never meditate with it, you never, you know, put it in your purse and stuff like that, like it's not going to work. You know, that's just not how it works. It's not as simple as having them. It's understanding what they do for you and spending time with them. I spend time with my crystals. I meditate. When I meditate, I hold all the ones that I really need for that day, for that week. And I visualize with them and I spend time with them.
That is really cool. That it sounds like what you're saying is that you need to establish some type of relationship with your crystals.
Yeah, you have to build a connection to kind of like to keep it going, you know? It's like anything spiritual, like spiritualness, you can't just do it randomly. You have to practice it. You have to put it into practice.
Right.
Is there any like things that you recommend if someone wants to get into this kind of stuff? Like, you know, whether it's a book or a website?
Okay, so let me tell you guys about my journey. So when I started all this crystal healing and I wanted to get into spirituality, I was like, I need a book because it's hard to look stuff up on the internet. You find conflicting information and stuff like that. So I started with this book. It's called The Soul Searcher's Handbook, The Modern Girl's Guide to the New Age World. And it was the best thing I found because in there it had yoga poses, it had feng shui, it had stuff about diets, it had stuff about spiritual healing, it had stuff about physical healing, it had stuff about auras, birthdays, numerology, basically everything you could think of when it comes to spirituality. And that's really where I started. And it just gave me kind of the basis of how to use crystals. And I've kind of used that as my foundation to keep in practice. And then I also go to our local crystal store, which is called Circles of Wisdom. And they have a bunch of classes there for people that are really useful. And they have a bunch of crystals there. They have everything labeled so you know what everything is, what they're used for. And it's just a really great shop.
Awesome.
That's amazing. So if we wanted to go out and buy some crystals, would you recommend, I know you explained that, you know, you can go off of your intuition and things like that, but I understand that, you know, intuition and these things can be difficult to understand or to assimilate when you are not used to doing it or trusting it. You know what I mean? So going out for the first time and buying crystals, would you recommend maybe talking to someone at the store and explaining a little bit what it is that you like, the outcome that you would want to get?
I think that crystal shopping should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful. So like if you don't know what your gut needs, then you should definitely talk to the staff. Maybe they'll be able to help you. But also, like, part of enjoying the crystals and using it and stuff like that is like going there and just picking out something that you like, picking out a color that you like, picking out a stone that calls your eye, you know, and then being like, you know what, that's what my spirit needs, you know. Then you read it and you read the description and you're like, well, that must be what my spirit needs, because that's, you know, what kind of draw to you, what like drew your eye. But also, if you want to do it technically, you can. Like, they almost always have the labeled explanations at the stores. So you can always just go and like read and pick out, like, you know, I'm feeling like this, then I must need something for negative energy. You know, my head feels cloudy, I must need something for mental clarity, you know. But you can always talk to the staff. I know the staff at Circles of Wisdom are really helpful with stuff like that. They're really knowledgeable and they can help you out.
And what about in difficult times, like these times that we're living in 2020? How have you found crystals to be helpful for you personally?
Well, for me, I do a ritual every week. I sit down and I set up a little mobile altar that I have, because, like I said, I used to read cards, so I would have things that I take with me around. So I have this little mobile altar, and I'll just set it up wherever I am, and will put all my crystals out that I want to use, and I will just sit there with them and just meditate. And when I meditate, I do it really intentionally. So I have this big piece of selenite, and selenite is for negative energy. And I sit there and I put on these negative energy removal things that you can find on YouTube. You just look up like negative energy removal and it'll pop up. And then I'll spend some time meditating with my crystals, and I'll be like, I'm going to visualize this crystal cleaning up all of my energy. I visualize a white light just cleaning up all the dirty on my body and just cleaning up all the dirty around me. And I think, okay, like, this is me resetting. You know, when I pick up a different kind of stone that is for mental clarity, then I sit with myself and I was like, I really need to focus on like cleaning my mind and putting my mind together and focusing on something. So then I focus on that. And that's just how I use some of my crystals. You know, I have one for negative energy, a little black stone, obsidian. And I keep it in my purse because I was like, you know what? I need this because times are really tough. And I need to have like an aura around me, protecting me, you know, this whole time. So I think there's so many different ways to use crystals, but I've always found that my favorite way to use them is through meditation and visualization.
That's amazing. Will you say that once you start using them and like working with them, will you say that people find like their own path with them?
Yeah, I think that people will learn to use stones in a lot of different ways. Because, you know, I talk about intention a lot too, but I also use my stones to find peace. Like, I will visually put them in a position that I think that is like visually pleasing. And I'm like, wow, this brings me like peace. I like that. And so like there's so many different ways that you can use your crystals that they definitely bring like I don't know, they bring like they bring like a connection to you for sure.
This has been really interesting. I wish you can stay with us, Yanelli, for many, many, many episodes so we can learn everything about it. It sounds really interesting. And it's like a whole new world, you know?
Yeah.
Any last advice you may have for someone starting off?
For someone starting off, I would say be open to the possibilities of what type of stones you could get. Don't be really rigid and be like, I really need this type of stone, or I really need this kind of stone, or I really needed to do this. Like, try not to be so rigid with yourself and try to really go with something that you're attracted to or something that you might technically need, and just kind of bring it to your house and like meditate with it, and then just go from there. And that would be my solid advice for somebody starting.
Some really good advice, definitely. You know, we would love to invite you back for another episode. Maybe we can do like a part 2 where you can teach us some of these things that you've talked about for somebody who may want to learn more about this. So definitely, you know, thank you so much for coming to our show today. It's been really great. You've been giving us so much information. It's amazing. And, you know, I just want to let everybody know, please subscribe to our YouTube page. So Living as Latinas is our YouTube page. Follow us also on Instagram, and our Instagram handle is Living as Latinas. And if you would like to hear us discuss some topics, you can email us as livingaslatinas@gmail.com. You know, download our latest episodes on all the major podcast platforms. And don't forget to tell a friend to download them too. Enjoy your week. And remember, as always, to be kind to others. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.